Released in 2008, Ip Man, directed by Wilson Yip and starring Donnie Yen, is the undisputed modern classic of martial arts cinema. It elevated the legendary real-life grandmaster of Wing Chun and future teacher of Bruce Lee into a global cinematic icon. Set in Foshan during the 1930s, the film follows Ip Man, a wealthy, soft-spoken martial arts master who desires nothing more than a quiet life practicing Wing Chun with his family. However, when the Second Sino-Japanese War breaks out and Foshan falls under brutal Japanese military occupation, Ip Man is stripped of his home, wealth, and status. Forced to work in a coal mine to feed his family, he is pushed into a deadly martial arts conflict against Japanese military officers led by General Miura, Hiroyuki Ikeuchi. The critical review: Grace under fire. Unlike many martial arts films that rely on over-the-top fantasy wire work, Ip Man succeeds through its emotional grounding and pure physical technique. Donnie Yen delivers the performance of his career, portraying Ip Man not as an aggressive brute, but as a humble, composed gentleman whose combat effectiveness stems from absolute calm and internal discipline. The contrast between the film's two halves is striking. The peaceful, sunlit first half captures the art and camaraderie of martial arts in Foshan, while the bleak, desaturated second half transforms into a bleak survival drama. The fight scenes are visceral, rapid, and deeply satisfying, culminating in a story about human dignity, resilience, and national pride. The Wing Chun Combat Matrix. Choreographed by martial arts legend Sammo Hung, the film served as a global showcase for Wing Chun, a southern Chinese martial art designed around efficiency, center-line control, and close-quarters defense. Combat principle. Center-line theory. Ip Man controls the vertical imaginary line down his opponent's body, deflecting incoming strikes while simultaneously striking. Chain punching, or Lian Wan Kuan. Rapid-fire, straight-line punches delivered in fractions of a second to overload an opponent's defense, most famously used in the 10-man fight scene. Deflective trapping, or pak sao or ton sao, using minimal force to redirect an opponent's momentum rather than blocking brute strength head-on. Wooden dummy, or muk yung jong, used by Ip Man for conditioning, rhythm, and precision angling, translating directly into his hand-to-hand maneuvers. Awards and accolades. Ip Man was a massive commercial and critical triumph across Asia and international markets. The 28th Hong Kong Film Awards in 2009 won Best Film and Best Action Choreography by Sammo Hung and Tony Leung Siu Hung, along with 10 other major nominations including Best Actor for Donnie Yen and Best Director for Wilson Yip. The Beijing Student Film Festival won Best Actor for Donnie Yen and Best Director for Wilson Yip. Global cultural impact. The movie triggered an explosive worldwide resurgence in Wing Chun schools and martial arts academies across North America, Europe, and Asia. 5 fascinating behind-the-scenes facts. Number 1. Donnie Yen's extreme physical transformation. To accurately portray the lean, refined grandmaster, Donnie Yen underwent 9 months of strict Wing Chun training under Ip Chun, Ip Man's real-life eldest son. Furthermore, Yen went on a severe diet, eating only 1 small meal a day to shed significant weight so he would look visibly malnourished during the Japanese occupation scenes. Number 2. The iconic "I want to fight 10 people" scene. The film's most famous sequence, where an enraged Ip Man demands to fight 10 Japanese black belts simultaneously after his friend is executed, was shot over several days. Sammo Hung designed the choreography so that Ip Man never moves backward. He aggressively advances, utilizing rapid chain punching, joint snapping, and ground pinning to convey raw, uncontrolled grief and fury. Number 3. Historical fiction versus real life. While the film depicts Ip Man fighting General Miura in a public ring duel, the real Ip Man never fought a Japanese general in public combat. During the occupation, Ip Man refused to work for or teach the Japanese military. Fearing assassination or arrest due to his refusal, Ip Man fled Foshan to Hong Kong in 1949, where he eventually opened his famous Wing Chun school. Number 4. An accidental eye injury nearly halted production. During a high-speed knife sparring scene with co-star Louis Fan, who played the northern martial artist Jin Shanzhao, Fan accidentally struck Donnie Yen near his left eye with a prop weapon. Yen required medical attention, and filming had to be paused briefly to prevent permanent eye damage. Number 5. Stephen Chow almost played Ip Man years prior. A film adaptation of Ip Man's life spent over a decade in development hell. In the late 1990s, legendary comedy and martial arts star Stephen Chow from Kung Fu Hust was originally attached to play Ip Man, with Wong Kar-wai directing. That version fell apart, eventually clearing the way for Wilson Yip, Donnie Yen, and producer Raymond Wong to make the definitive 2008 version. Production snapshot. Director, Wilson Yip. Action director, Sammo Hung. Lead cast, Donnie Yen as Ip Man, Simon Yam as Zhao Qingchan, Hiroyuki Kiuchi as General Miura, Lin Hung as Churing Wing Sing. Primary martial art, Wing Chun. Box office, over $22 million on an $11 million budget, dominating East Asian markets. What sets Ip Man apart from almost every other martial arts blockbuster is its commitment to emotional quietness before the storm. In the sunlit opening scenes set in 1930s Foshan, China's hub for martial arts schools, Ip Man is presented not as a brooding hero seeking glory, but as a wealthy, mild-mannered family man. He doesn't take on students, he doesn't brag, and he actively avoids public challenges to keep peace in his household. This domestic tranquility makes the dramatic pivot in the film's second half all the more devastating. When the 1937 Japanese invasion destroys Foshan, the film strips away Ip Man's mansion, silk robes, and financial security, placing him in a coal mine struggling to secure a single bag of rice for his family. His journey isn't about personal glory, it becomes a struggle to preserve human dignity under systemic oppression. Donnie Yen's brilliance lies in his restraint. His eyes convey immense grief, while his posture remains immovable. The masterclass in choreography, Sammo Hung's design. Action director Sammo Hung structured the fight sequences to reflect Ip Man's psychological state across 3 distinct acts. 1. The friendly duels, Foshan Peace Era. In the early scenes, such as the closed-door tea-room fight with Master Lao or the duel inside his home against the northern brawler Jin Shanzhao, Ip Man fights with playful elegance. He uses minimal force, avoids causing serious injury, and actively protects his wife's household vases while fighting. The movement is fluid, polite, and light on its feet. 2. The 10-man arena fight, the turning point. After witnessing the cold-blooded execution of his friend Lin in the Japanese martial arts hall, Ip Man's Wing Chun transforms completely. For the only time in the movie, Ip Man steps into the ring driven by pure, controlled rage. Zero retreat. He never takes a step backward. He aggressively advances into his opponent's guard. Devastating precision. He abandons polite deflections for bone-breaking joint locks, rapid centerline chain punches, or Lien Wan Kyun, and heavy downward stomps. Visual impact. This sequence is widely considered one of the single greatest fight scenes in modern action cinema history due to its raw, visceral rhythm. 3. The public duel, the finale, against General Miura. In the final showdown against General Miura, Ip Man fights with absolute focus. Miura relies on the heavy linear power of karate, while Ip Man counters with the close-quarters trapping, Pak Sao and Tan Sao of Wing Chun. It becomes a symbolic battle between brute force and refined skill. Behind the scenes and production facts. 1. The real-life family connection. To ensure the film respected the real Ip Man's legacy, Ip Man's real-life sons, Ip Chun and Ip Ching, served as special consultants on set. Ip Chun, who was in his 80s during production, personally instructed Donnie Yen on the traditional Wing Chun wooden dummy Muk Yenjong techniques and verified the authenticity of the historical details. 2. Donnie Yen's 9-month isolation. Before cameras rolled, Donnie Yen dedicated 9 full months exclusively to learning Wing Chun. Because Yen came from a background in wushu, taekwondo, and Western boxing, styles that rely heavily on wide, explosive movements, he had to completely retrain his muscle memory to execute Wing Chun's short, tight, centerline strikes. 3. The color palette storytelling. Director Wilson Yip and cinematographer Sing-Poo Oh used distinct visual color grading to reflect the narrative shift. Part 1, Foshan's Golden Age, filmed in warm golden yellows, rich amber tones, and bright natural light to evoke nostalgia and comfort. Part 2, Japanese Occupation, shifted dramatically to cold blues, desaturated grays, and harsh industrial lighting to highlight poverty, coldness, and danger. 4. The title dispute. During pre-production, a competing director announced a separate movie about Ip Man titled The Grandmaster, which eventually became Wong Kar-wai's 2013 film. This led to a brief title dispute, with Wilson Yip's project initially changing its title to Grandmaster Ip Man before finally settling on the clean, definitive title, Ip Man. Historical reality versus cinematic drama. While the movie is a brilliant piece of dramatic cinema, several elements were exaggerated or altered for storytelling. The coal mine. The real Ip Man did experience severe poverty during the Japanese occupation, but the coal mine sparring ring run by Japanese military officers was a fictional creation designed for the film's narrative tension. Leaving Foshan. In real life, Ip Man served as a police officer in Foshan during various periods before eventually moving to Hong Kong in 1949, where he began teaching Wing Chun publicly to students, including a young Bruce Lee.